You know, I always regretted the chance that I never had a chance to interview Matt Jefferies, the designer of the Enterprise 1701. We had several times set up, and his health problems seemed to get in the way. And in the minute we finally had a good one set up, he passed so quickly, and I never got that chance. But I'm talking with somebody who's rather close to Matt and had a chance to put his story together. And next best thing, and well, let's meet him right now. Richard.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you this morning?
I noticed you had the same last name as Matt.
I sure do. Matt was my older brother by 18 months. When my brother was a little boy, he said, "Someday I will fly way, way out beyond the clouds." And that's why I named the book Beyond the Clouds.
That is a great... What else could you call it? The Lifetime Trek of Walter Matt Jefferies.
Right. These are the original sketches that Matt made, and including the dimensional drawings of the Enterprise.
Right.
Matt designed the bridge, which you see here.
Oh yeah.
Paramount were good enough to send a picture to me of the crew to put into my book. I thanked them for that. He did a lot of the interiors, for example, the sick bay.
Oh yeah.
Now here's an excellent picture of Matt and Gene Roddenberry.
Yep.
Looking over some plans. Matt did many of the interiors, like the shuttlecraft.
That's his proposal up there.
He designed the Klingon battle cruiser. You
sure did. And there you got him.
They made 2 models of the battle cruiser. Matt donated his to the Smithsonian.
Right.
Matt and I graduated from high school in Richmond, Virginia in 1940. In the war, Matt went in B-17 bombers with the Air Force. I went with the engineers. 2 years later, after flying B-17s in North Africa and Italy, Matt came back and looking for a job. He got one at the Library of Congress in the aviation department. Well, Hollywood was making a film called Bombers B-52.
Right.
And they needed some bomber expertise. So the Library of Congress sent my brother out to Hollywood. Well, Gene Roddenberry saw the work and liked it and said, "I got to meet that guy." Well, he not only met Matt, but he hired him to design the Enterprise.
That critter that's right there on that book.
That's pictured on this book. Now, Gene Roddenberry flew B-17s in the Pacific. So they immediately bonded, became good friends, and again, Matt went to work in designing the Enterprise. Now I'm going to fast forward to the year 2003. Matt passed away. I just turned 81. I'm 85 now. But Matt passed away, and I gave his eulogy in Hollywood. When I stepped out of the church, I met hundreds of trekkers, aviation people, film people, and they asked me to please write his biography. You'll see an awful lot in the beginning of the book about the ancestry of Matt Jefferies and myself. Right. So after going through those Depression years, the years that he was in the service, you'll see here, for example, I mentioned his service in the Air Force. He was in the 8th Air Force in England. Then he went to North Africa. There's Matt in a co-pilot of a B-17. Oh, yeah. This is a very famous airplane that was hit by a German fighter over North Africa, and they stripped all the armament. There's a 4-man crew, and Matt was co-pilot and engineer. Matt returned after 3 years' duty on B-17s. He arrived in Washington, D.C. My younger brother, Philip, was in the infantry, and he was headed the next day to Europe. I was stationed at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and fortunately the 3 of us got together for one night at a hotel. The photographer came by and for $2 took our picture, and we feel that it's priceless.
Oh, it is, the 3 of you together.
Okay, now this is a picture of my 3 art director brothers. I'm the only engineer in the group, but God bless them, they were Hollywood boys. This is Matt. This is my brother John Jefferies. He did Matlock and a great many other movies and films. This is our brother Philip. Philip was nominated for the Academy Award for Butch Cassidy. He did The Cowboys with John Wayne. He did Grease. I gave all the credits here. There's a beautiful article that came out in the Daily Variety, The Brotherhood of Art Directors. Real proud of my art director brothers.
Very
We
good.
lost Phil some years ago. John is still living in California, flying his airplane, and of course we all miss Matt dearly.
And John did a little work with Matt on Star Trek.
Yes, he
didn't
did. He
Yes.
assisted Matt, particularly on the design of the bridge. So he worked with Matt on 2 of the seasons of the original series.
Oh, okay.
Well, Star Trek was wonderful. He enjoyed it. He made many friends. It made his name famous. But Paramount didn't pay him big bucks. But a gentleman
He kept
by the
working.
name of Michael Landon came along
Right.
and hired him to do Little House on the Prairie for 8 years. Now these are his sketches. A lot of our childhood memories of our grandparents that never had running water or electricity in the house.
Yeah.
Why, I think a lot of the things from our childhood are related to his expertise on doing Little House. After that, he devoted a good part of his life to his aviation,
Right.
and again, many of his paintings. Now this painting here is his painting of his aircraft, and that also appears on the back cover of his biography.
Now we were talking about the Christmas ornaments.
Well, it might be interesting to know that because of a depression after World War I, my father found work in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in the power plant. And so Matt and I were born in Hershey, and that's why we're such sweet guys.
I see.
Now, every Christmas, for many Christmases, Matt made a Christmas tree ornament, and one of them featured the Hershey chocolate bar.
And there's you have a couple more in there, I think.
A couple more.
On the very next.
Really interesting elves, and they were Christmas tree ornaments.
All Matt's.
All Matt's. This is Matt and Mary Ann's wedding,
Ann's,
and before they went to Hollywood. They were together with wedded bliss for 55 years.
55 years.
Mary Ann was very supportive, a wonderful, wonderful person. She still is in Hollywood. We see her frequently and love her as Matt did. And of course they were celebrating one of their birthdays in Santa Paula, California, and always laughing, always enjoying life. Matt and
That's
Mary
great.
Ann.
Yeah. Wasn't this a special little addition to the
Oh
book?
yes, Michael Cooter.
Yes.
Graphic artist Michael Cooter donated a patch that he does, like he does for NASA, specifically for the book, honoring Matt Jefferies.
And there you go. Well, Matt was a great friend to all of us that worked in Star Trek or talked about it, communicated it, and it is a great book. Richard, I think that's doing it. We want to make sure and get the word out to all the fans. And again, you said Star Trek fans, aviation painting fans,
Exactly.
World War II fans.
Right.
Everybody's got a chapter in that book. It's
And
not
let me
just
make
Star
one
Trek.
lasting comment.
Sure.
I'm pleased to know, and Matt would be too, that the colleges and universities are picking up this book now as an inspirational book. The story of a young man with a vision, and not just talent, but hard work. And he reached all of his goals. And I think Matt would be very pleased to know that that's what's taking place.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it, and thanks for the interview.
And I think Matt would be pleased to see how the book turned out and that so many people have had an interest.
I'm sure he would.
He would. Well, Richard, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
All best with that and all in the future.
Thank you. Thank you much.